Some of the world's most iconic figures didn't just leave behind unforgettable legacies, they eerily predicted their own deaths. From cryptic lyrics to haunting interviews, these chilling premonitions turned into reality, leaving fans stunned and intrigued. One such figure was Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was known for his vibrant stage presence and electrifying performances. But behind the glitz and glamour, Elvis battled a darker reality. In his later years, Elvis spent much of his time at Graceland, his iconic Memphis mansion, where close friends often gathered. It was during these private moments that he revealed his growing fears about his health and mortality. Sitting in his favorite room, surrounded by friends, Elvis would confide about his struggles. He admitted to feeling overwhelmed by the toll of his relentless schedule, poor diet, and reliance on prescription medications. Elvis was acutely aware of the effects his excessive lifestyle had on his body. Years of intense performances, lack of rest, and unhealthy eating habits left him in poor health. His weight fluctuated drastically, and he often complained of fatigue and chest pains. Those closest to him noticed his growing paranoia about dying young. On more than one occasion, Elvis warned his entourage that he didn't believe he would live past the age of 42. This haunting premonition came true on August 16, 1977, when Elvis was found unresponsive at Graceland. He was just 42 years old. His death shocked the world, but for those who had heard his warnings, it was a tragic confirmation of what Elvis had feared all along. Today, his legacy endures, but the story of his struggles serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost of fame and excess. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, a Hollywood icon whose charm captivated millions, often masked her struggles with fame and inner turmoil. In interviews, Marilyn sometimes joked about the pressures of stardom. One such moment stood out when she laughed and said, "Fame is like caviar. You know it's good, but you won't want it every day." Behind her glamorous image, she lived a life riddled with loneliness and insecurity, often overshadowed by her struggles with mental health and the burdens of celebrity life. Friends recalled that Marilyn would make mysterious phone calls late at night, speaking cryptically about her fears. She sometimes expressed feelings of being trapped and overwhelmed, even predicting her untimely end. "They'll find me dead someday," she told a close friend, her voice laced with a haunting certainty. Her words were dismissed at the time as part of her emotional vulnerability, but they carried an eerie weight in hindsight. Marilyn's battle with depression and substance abuse was no secret, and she was known to rely on a mix of prescription pills to cope. On August 5, 1962, her haunting premonition came true. Marilyn was found dead in her Los Angeles home from a barbiturate overdose at the age of 36. The world mourned the loss of a star who shone so brightly yet burned out too soon. Her cryptic statements, once thought to be passing remarks, now feel like tragic glimpses into her fate, leaving an indelible mark on Hollywood's history. John Lennon. John Lennon, the legendary musician and peace advocate, often spoke openly about the dangers of fame. In several interviews, he candidly discussed how being a public figure could make someone a target. Once, he remarked, "Being famous is like being in the eye of a storm. It's calm where you are, but all around, it's chaos." Lennon's honesty about his fears was striking, particularly his concern that fame could cost him his life. In the months leading up to his death, Lennon made several unsettling remarks. During a 1980 interview, he admitted he didn't expect to live a long life, saying, "I sometimes feel like somebody will just pop me off. You can't avoid it when you're that famous." These words, spoken with eerie clarity, revealed his deep-seated anxiety about being a high-profile figure. On December 8, 1980, Lennon's fears tragically came true. While returning to his New York City apartment, he was shot and killed by a fan, Mark David Chapman, who had waited for hours to ambush him. Lennon was just 40 years old. The senseless act shocked the world and left fans reeling. Reflecting on his statements, many saw the chilling accuracy of Lennon's predictions. His death became a painful reminder of the vulnerability that even the most iconic figures face. Lennon's legacy as a voice for peace endures, but his haunting remarks about his own fate continue to resonate as a tragic echo of his life. Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston, celebrated for her angelic voice and unmatched talent, was also a woman carrying deep fears that she occasionally shared with those close to her. Among them was a recurring anxiety about water. In private conversations, Whitney confessed to friends her unease around large bodies of water and a haunting fear of drowning. "I don't like being near water too much. It's like a dark place for me," she once told a confidant. These words, casual at the time, later took on a chilling significance. Throughout her career, Whitney's fears subtly surfaced in her work. Some of her lyrics, such as those in "I Look to You," spoke of yearning for salvation amidst struggles that felt overwhelming. In interviews during the later years of her life, Whitney discussed her battles with addiction and her efforts to find peace, though the shadows of her fears remained. On February 11, 2012, Whitney's darkest premonition came true. She was found unresponsive in the bathtub of her Beverly Hills hotel room, the result of accidental drowning exacerbated by heart disease and drug use. The news devastated fans and loved ones, who were left grappling with the eerie echoes of her fears. In the aftermath, Whitney's remarks about drowning seemed almost prophetic. Her tragic end became a heartbreaking chapter in the life of a star who had brought so much light to the world, yet struggled with the darkness within. Her legacy endures, shining brightly despite her untimely passing. Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison, the enigmatic lead singer of The Doors, lived a life fueled by chaos, creativity, and self-destruction. Known for his poetic lyrics and wild behavior, Morrison had an uncanny awareness of his mortality. He often made dark jokes to friends and bandmates about dying young. "I don't think I'll live to be 28, he once said, his voice a mix of defiance and resignation. His words, dismissed as part of his rebellious persona, carried a chilling truth. Morrison's lifestyle reflected his prophecy. He indulged in heavy drinking, drug use, and reckless behavior, often pushing his body and mind to the limit. Friends and colleagues grew increasingly concerned about his erratic actions, but Morrison seemed unconcerned. His art was deeply tied to his personal struggles, with lyrics exploring themes of death, transcendence, and the fragility of life. On July 3, 1971, Morrison's haunting prediction came true. He was found dead in a bathtub in Paris, at the age of 27. The cause was listed as heart failure, though no autopsy was performed, leaving the circumstances shrouded in mystery. His death cemented his place in the infamous 27 Club, a group of legendary artists who also passed away at that age. Morrison's legacy as a cultural icon and musical visionary remains strong. His prophetic remarks about his early demise and the intensity with which he lived continue to fascinate fans, making him a symbol of the brilliance and tragedy of youthful excess. Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse, a powerhouse of raw talent and emotion, often joked with friends about the 27 Club, the group of famous musicians who died at the age of 27. Her remarks, laced with dark humor, left those around her unsettled. Friends recalled moments when Amy would say, "I'm not going to live past 27, laughing it off but hinting at a deeper fear. Behind her words was a woman grappling with immense pressures and personal demons. The weight of fame bore heavily on Amy. Her soulful music, filled with lyrics of heartbreak and vulnerability, resonated with millions, but the attention it brought overwhelmed her. Struggles with addiction and mental health became increasingly public, fueling tabloid stories and scrutiny. Despite attempts to rehabilitate, Amy found it difficult to escape the cycle of dependency. Fame, combined with her turbulent personal life, created a perfect storm of self-destruction. Amy's family later revealed heartbreaking conversations where she expressed feelings of being trapped. "I can't handle this," she told her father during one emotional moment. Her loved ones worried about her health but felt powerless to intervene fully. On July 23, 2011, Amy Winehouse joined the tragic ranks of the 27 Club. She was found in her London home, dead from alcohol poisoning. Her death shocked the world and gave chilling significance to her earlier remarks. Today, Amy's legacy lives on through her music, but her untimely passing serves as a poignant reminder of the cost of fame and inner turmoil. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix, the legendary guitarist known for redefining rock music, often expressed profound thoughts about life and mortality in his lyrics. In the late 1960s, Hendrix was at the height of his career, creating songs that would become timeless classics. But amidst his creative genius, there were moments of eerie introspection. While penning lyrics for his music, Jimi frequently wrote about the fleeting nature of life and the idea of leaving a lasting legacy. In one song, he sang, "If I don't see you no more in this world, I'll meet you in the next one." Lines like these, poetic and haunting, hinted at his awareness that his time might be short. Jimi's lifestyle mirrored the intensity of his music. His electrifying performances and experimental sound came with the cost of relentless touring, substance abuse, and emotional turmoil. Those close to him noticed he spoke often about life's impermanence, as if he knew his time was limited. He once remarked, "You have to go on and be crazy. Craziness is like heaven." On September 18th, 1970, Jimi Hendrix was found dead in London at the age of 27. His cause of death was asphyxia, linked to an overdose. The lyrics he left behind gained a new, chilling significance, resonating with fans who mourned his loss. Hendrix's prophetic words and untimely death solidified his place in the infamous 27 Club, leaving a legacy as one of music's most brilliant and tragic figures, Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain, the voice of a generation and the frontman of Nirvana, was deeply introspective, often exploring themes of mortality in his art and personal writings. Cobain frequently poured his thoughts into journals, filling them with reflections on fame, life, and death. He wrote about feeling out of place in the world and the toll that fame had taken on his mental health. One haunting entry read, "I hate myself and I want to die," a sentiment that would later resonate with fans as a tragic premonition. Cobain's music reflected his inner turmoil. Songs like Lithium and Something in the Way carried raw emotion, offering glimpses into his struggles with depression. In interviews, he spoke candidly about his dissatisfaction with fame, calling it suffocating. He once remarked, "I'd rather burn out than fade away," echoing Neil Young's famous lyric, which would later become synonymous with his life and legacy. On April 5th, 1994, Cobain's struggles reached a heartbreaking end. At the age of 27, he died by suicide at his Seattle home, leaving behind a note that reflected his inner pain and exhaustion. His death devastated fans and cemented his place in the infamous 27 Club. Cobain's fixation on mortality and his untimely death continue to captivate the world. His art remains a testament to his brilliance and his battles, with his haunting words serving as a reminder of the deep struggles that often accompany extraordinary talent. Tupac Shakur. Tupac Shakur, one of hip-hop's most influential artists, was often open about his thoughts on life and death. Friends recall intimate conversations where Tupac spoke about his mortality with startling clarity. "I'm not afraid of death. It's inevitable," he once said, reflecting his acceptance of life's fragility. He believed his time on Earth would be short and saw death as an extension of the struggles he faced in life. This awareness deeply influenced his music. Tupac's lyrics often contained chilling references to his own death, painting vivid pictures of violence and betrayal. In his song Hail Mary, he rapped, "When they turn out the lights, I'll be there in the dark." His 1995 track, If I Die Tonight, was another haunting example, with lines like, "I hope they bury me and send me to my rest." Tupac's interviews were just as foreboding, with the artist openly stating that he didn't expect to live long, given the dangers of his lifestyle and environment. On September 13th, 1996, Tupac's premonitions came true. After being shot multiple times in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, he succumbed to his injuries at just 25 years old. His death shocked the world, but was eerily aligned with the themes he explored in his art. Tupac's legacy lives on, with fans revisiting his music and interviews as haunting reminders of his prophetic words. His life and death continue to symbolize both the triumphs and tragedies of his era. Princess Diana. Princess Diana, adored worldwide as the People's Princess, carried a deep and persistent fear that her life would end in tragedy. Close friends revealed that Diana frequently expressed concerns about being harmed in a car accident. She once confided to her personal secretary, "They will try to get rid of me. It will look like an accident." These haunting words seem to reflect her growing unease about the pressures and dangers surrounding her life in the public eye. Diana's fear of a car crash wasn't baseless. The relentless media scrutiny and constant presence of paparazzi created a dangerous environment for the princess. In a letter written to her butler, Paul Burrell, she detailed her anxiety, saying she believed someone was planning a fatal accident to clear the path for Prince Charles to remarry. This chilling letter, later revealed to the public, felt like an eerie prophecy. On August 31st, 1997, Diana's worst fears came true. In Paris, while trying to escape the paparazzi, her car crashed in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, killing her, her companion Dodi Fade, and the driver. The tragic accident sent shockwaves around the world. Diana's fears and the circumstances of her death left many wondering if she had foreseen her own fate. Her tragic story remains a poignant reminder of the pressures of fame and the vulnerability of even the most beloved figures. Diana's life and death continue to captivate the world, amplifying her legacy as an icon of grace and resilience. Michael Jackson. Hey you! Yeah, you still watching but not subscribed? Come on, don't be shy. Hit that subscribe button. We're serving up stories you can't resist, so why miss out? Michael Jackson, the king of pop, lived a life of extraordinary fame and intense scrutiny. Despite his global success, Michael often expressed a deep fear of dying young. Close friends and confidants recalled private conversations where he voiced his anxieties. "I feel like I'm not safe," he reportedly told one friend, adding that he believed people around him were not looking out for his best interests. These confessions revealed a man haunted by paranoia and the pressures of his immense celebrity. In the years leading up to his death, Michael's fears seemed to grow. He often spoke about his father's strictness during his childhood and how it left a lasting impact on his mental health. He also referenced the tragic early deaths of fellow celebrities like Elvis Presley, whom he admired. Michael believed his demanding lifestyle, combined with relentless public scrutiny, could lead to a similar fate. "I don't think I'll get to grow old," he once remarked during a somber moment. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson's fears were realized. He died at the age of 50 from cardiac arrest caused by a lethal dose of the anesthetic propofol, administered by his personal physician. His sudden death shocked the world, leaving millions of fans heartbroken. The eerie alignment of Michael's premonitions and his untimely demise added another layer of tragedy to his story. Today, his legacy remains unparalleled, but his life serves as a reminder of the immense pressures that can accompany fame. Bob Marley. Bob Marley, the legendary reggae artist and cultural icon, often spoke about life and death with a sense of spiritual clarity. Marley believed deeply in living for a purpose rather than the length of one's years. In an interview, he once said, "Life is for us to live, not to fear death. The measure of a man is what he accomplishes in his time." This philosophy guided his music, actions, and the way he faced life's challenges. Marley's Rastafarian beliefs heavily influenced his perspective on mortality. He saw death not as an end, but as a continuation of a spiritual journey. Close friends recalled Marley hinting that he would not live a long life, yet he seemed at peace with the idea. He often spoke of his purpose being greater than his physical existence, saying, "My music will live on long after I am gone." Tragically, Marley's premonition came true. In 1977, he was diagnosed with melanoma, a form of skin cancer. Despite medical advice, Marley chose not to have his toe amputated due to his Rastafarian faith. The cancer eventually spread throughout his body, and on May 11, 1981, Marley passed away at just 36 years old. His death left the world mourning, but his words and music gained even greater significance. Marley's life and untimely passing remain a poignant reminder of his commitment to spreading messages of unity, love, and purpose, ensuring his legacy endures for generations. Robin Williams. Robin Williams, the beloved comedian and actor, often used humor to explore life's deepest and darkest truths. In interviews, Williams frequently joked about mortality, weaving sharp wit with reflections on life and death. Once, he quipped, "Death is nature's way of saying, 'Your table's ready.'" While the audience laughed, those close to him later noted how his humor often hinted at an underlying struggle. Behind the laughter, Williams was battling profound inner demons. He openly discussed his struggles with addiction and mental health, yet he always seemed to mask the full extent of his pain. His comedy often touched on mortality, not just as a punchline, but as a way to navigate his own feelings. In another interview, he remarked, "We all end up in the same place. It's just a question of when." Such remarks, light-hearted at the time, took on a haunting significance after his passing. On August 11, 2014, the world was devastated to learn that Robin Williams had died by suicide at the age of 63. It was later revealed that he had been battling undiagnosed Lewy body dementia, a condition that contributed to his mental health struggles. Fans and friends began revisiting his interviews, piecing together the cryptic remarks that now felt like clues to his internal anguish. Williams's death was a heartbreaking reminder of the complexities of mental health. His legacy as a comedic genius and compassionate soul endures, shining a light on the importance of understanding and empathy. Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury, the iconic frontman of Queen, was known for his larger-than-life persona and unparalleled vocal talent. In his later years, however, Freddie became increasingly reflective, often speaking about mortality in a way that hinted at his awareness of his limited time. During one interview, he remarked, "I'm not afraid to die. I've lived a full life and done what I wanted to do." His words were striking, especially as his health began to decline in the late 1980s. Mercury's music also reflected his growing acceptance of death. Songs like "The Show Must Go On" became symbolic of his determination to persevere despite his struggles. Written during his battle with AIDS, the lyrics, "My soul is painted like the wings of butterflies. Fairy tales of yesterday will grow but never die," carried a poignant message about leaving a lasting legacy. Fans and bandmates alike were moved by Freddie's ability to channel his personal battles into art. Freddie's final interviews were tinged with subtle hints about his illness, though he avoided directly addressing it in public. He maintained his characteristic charisma, but often spoke about cherishing the present and creating as much as possible while he could. On November 24, 1991, Freddie Mercury passed away from complications related to AIDS at the age of 45. His death shocked the world, but his haunting lyrics and reflective interviews gained new significance, cementing his place as a timeless legend whose art continues to inspire generations. Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee, the martial arts icon and cultural phenomenon, often reflected on the fragility of life. He was deeply affected by the death of his father, Lee Hoi-chuen, who passed away when Bruce was only a teenager. This loss left a profound mark on him, shaping his views on mortality. In conversations with friends and family, Bruce spoke about the possibility of his own life being cut short. He believed that intense dedication to his art and purpose might come at a price. "It's not how long you live, but how you live," he once said, a statement that resonated with those who knew him best. Bruce's life was a whirlwind of passion and achievement. He revolutionized martial arts and cinema, becoming a global star. Yet, as his fame grew, so did his sense of urgency. He pushed his body and mind to extreme limits, as if racing against time. Close friends noted that Bruce occasionally made remarks about feeling destined for an early death, mirroring his father's untimely passing. On July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee died suddenly at the age of 32, under mysterious circumstances. The official cause was cerebral edema, but speculation about his death continues to this day. The parallels with his father's early death and Bruce's own premonitions left an eerie shadow over his legacy. Bruce Lee's life, though tragically short, became a testament to his philosophy of living with purpose and intensity. His legacy endures as an inspiring story of determination and brilliance. Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger, an actor celebrated for his dedication to his craft, took on the role of the Joker in The Dark Knight, with an intensity that left those around him both awed and concerned. In interviews, Heath spoke openly about the mental and emotional toll the character had on him. "It's exhausting," he said, describing the Joker as a psychopathic, mass-murdering clown with zero empathy. Ledger revealed that to prepare for the role, he locked himself in a hotel room for weeks, creating the character's unsettling voice and mannerisms. While his commitment was admired, it also hinted at a deeper unease. During filming, friends and colleagues noticed changes in Heath's behavior. He confessed to struggling with insomnia, saying, "I couldn't stop thinking. My body was exhausted, but my mind was still going." He began taking prescription medications to help him sleep, but they offered little relief. His portrayal of the Joker became a masterpiece, but it also seemed to reflect the chaos he was feeling internally. On January 22, 2008, Heath Ledger was found dead in his apartment at just 28 years old. The cause was an accidental overdose of prescription drugs. His passing shocked the world, and fans began to revisit his interviews, noting the chilling parallels between his struggles and his untimely death. Ledger's portrayal of the Joker remains iconic, but the tragic connection between his final role and his demise has left a haunting legacy that continues to captivate and sadden audiences worldwide. River Phoenix. River Phoenix, one of Hollywood's most promising young talents, was known for his raw acting ability and deep sensitivity. However, friends often recalled his dark humor when it came to mortality. River had a habit of making jokes about dying young, statements that were brushed off at the time, as part of his eccentric personality. "I'm not going to be around for long," he once quipped during a late-night conversation, a remark that left an eerie mark after his untimely passing. River's life, though filled with talent and success, was also marked by the pressures of fame and personal struggles. As his career skyrocketed, so did his battles with substance abuse. Despite his outward charm and environmental activism, those close to him noticed signs of internal conflict. His lifestyle became increasingly chaotic, with long hours on set, heavy partying, and the weight of being a public figure at such a young age. On October 31st, 1993, River's dark jokes turned into a heartbreaking reality. At the age of 23, he collapsed outside the Viper Room, a Hollywood nightclub, after overdosing on a lethal combination of drugs. His death shocked fans and left a void in Hollywood, as many believed he was destined for greatness. Even in death, River Phoenix's influence endures. He remains an icon of youthful talent and unfulfilled potential, inspiring a new generation of actors, while serving as a tragic reminder of the pressures that come with early fame. His haunting words about dying young continue to resonate. Paul Walker. Paul Walker, best known for his role in the Fast and Furious franchise, was a man who loved speed and adventure. Off-screen, Walker frequently spoke about his passion for cars and his appreciation for living life on the edge. "If one day speed kills me, don't cry because I was smiling," he famously said, a quote that became hauntingly prophetic. Friends and fans saw these words as a reflection of his carefree and adventurous spirit, but after his death, they carried a much darker resonance. Walker's love for cars extended beyond his films. He participated in professional racing and was deeply involved in automotive culture. Those close to him noted his respect for the power of vehicles, but also acknowledged his thrill-seeking nature. In interviews, he spoke candidly about the risks that came with speed, often joking that he wouldn't mind going out doing something he loved. On November 30th, 2013, Walker's words took on a chilling reality. Riding as a passenger in a Porsche Carrera GT, the car crashed and burst into flames, killing him and the driver instantly. The tragedy shocked the world, cutting short the life of an actor who seemed destined for more. Fans mourned the loss deeply, revisiting his quote about speed and reflecting on the fragility of life. Paul Walker's legacy lives on through his charitable work and his iconic role in Fast and Furious. But his untimely death remains a sobering reminder of the risks he embraced so passionately. The Notorious B.I.G. The Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, was one of hip-hop's most influential figures, celebrated for his storytelling and lyrical genius. As he worked on his second album, Life After Death, the title itself seemed eerily prophetic. During recording sessions, Biggie often spoke about the dangers of the rap world and the violent feuds that surrounded him. He infused his music with references to death, betrayal, and the fragility of life, creating songs that felt like reflections of his reality. Biggie's lyrics were raw and honest, offering glimpses into his life and fears. Tracks like You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You carried a haunting message, especially in hindsight. While some saw his words as clever metaphors, others recognized them as chilling foreshadowing. In interviews, Biggie openly acknowledged the risks of his success. "I've got this feeling that something bad is going to happen," he admitted to a close friend shortly before his death. On March 9th, 1997, just weeks before the release of Life After Death, Biggie was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles. He was only 24 years old. The murder remains unsolved, but his death sent shockwaves through the music industry. Biggie's legacy endures as one of the greatest rappers of all time. His prophetic lyrics and untimely death have solidified his place in hip-hop history, and his influence continues to shape the genre and inspire new artists. Aaliyah. Aaliyah, the beloved R&B singer and actress, was known for her angelic voice and effortless charisma. However, close friends and family revealed that she often spoke about her discomfort with flying. Aaliyah reportedly expressed unease about small planes in particular, once telling a friend, "I just don't feel safe on them. It's always been a fear of mine." Her remarks seemed to reflect a cautious approach to travel, though she frequently had to fly for her career. In August 2001, Aaliyah traveled to the Bahamas to film the music video for her single, Rock the Boat. Despite her apprehension, she agreed to board a small twin-engine Cessna for the return trip to the US on August 25th. After wrapping up the shoot, Aaliyah and her entourage boarded the plane. Witnesses later claimed that Aaliyah hesitated before getting on, even voicing her concerns about the plane's capacity. Shortly after takeoff, the overloaded aircraft crashed, killing all 9 people on board, including Aaliyah. She was just 22 years old. Investigations revealed that the plane had exceeded its weight limit and that the pilot was not properly licensed. Aaliyah's tragic death shocked the world and made her earlier fears about flying heartbreakingly true. Fans and loved ones mourned the loss of a talent taken far too soon. Today, Aaliyah's legacy endures through her music and influence, but the tragic irony of her passing remains one of the most haunting aspects of her story. Abraham Lincoln. In the days leading up to his assassination, President Abraham Lincoln had an unsettling experience that would later be seen as a chilling premonition. One night, he confided in his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, about a strange and vivid dream he had. He described walking through a darkened White House and hearing cries of distress. As he entered a room, he found a funeral procession, and to his horror, he saw a body draped in the American flag, his own. He told Mary that he felt his death was near and that he would not survive the remainder of his term. "I had the strangest dream, and it told me I would not live long," he shared with her, though he did not reveal much more. At the time, Lincoln's dream was considered a mere product of his stress and the weight of the Civil War. However, just days after sharing his dream, the terrifying premonition came true. On April 14, 1865, Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth while attending a play at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. The eerie parallels between Lincoln's dream and his tragic death left a lasting impact on history. His premonition of his own assassination seemed almost prophetic, and the memory of his words haunted the nation. Lincoln's legacy as one of the greatest U.S. presidents is forever linked to the tragedy of his death, with his final vision serving as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life. James Dean. James Dean, the iconic actor known for his rebellious spirit and compelling performances, embodied the phrase, "Live fast, die young." From a young age, Dean was known for his intense passion and desire to live life to the fullest. He wasn't just a star on screen. He was a symbol of youthful defiance and restlessness. His reckless lifestyle, however, was not confined to his acting roles. Dean had a love for fast cars and often raced on the open road, pushing limits that others feared to cross. One of his most infamous quotes, "Live fast, die young, and leave a beautiful corpse," became a defining mantra of his life. While this quote captured his fearless approach to life, it also hinted at the tragic fate that would soon befall him. Friends and colleagues noted that while Dean had a magnetic presence, there was always an underlying sense of self-destruction in his character, particularly when it came to his obsession with speed. On September 30th, 1955, while driving his Porsche 550 Spyder to a race in California, James Dean crashed and died instantly at the age of 24. The tragic accident cemented his status as a cultural icon. Dean's death mirrored his famous quote, symbolizing the fragile nature of fame and youth. James Dean's legacy has endured far beyond his untimely death. His image as the ultimate bad boy continues to influence modern culture, with his passion for fast cars and a fast life remaining a poignant part of his mythos. He lived and died on his own terms. Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood, the glamorous and talented Hollywood actress, had a deep and unsettling fear of water. Friends and family recall her often speaking about her discomfort around large bodies of water, particularly the ocean. She once confided in a close friend, "I'm terrified of drowning. I don't feel safe near water." Despite her fears, Wood worked in films that required her to be in or around water, but she never fully overcame the anxiety that came with it. Her words seemed more like a lingering concern than something to be taken too seriously at the time. On November 28, 1981, tragedy struck when Natalie Wood drowned off the coast of Catalina Island. She had been spending the weekend on a yacht with her husband, actor Robert Wagner, and her co-star Christopher Walken. After an evening of drinking, Natalie was found missing from the yacht. Hours later, her body was discovered floating in the cold waters, just a short distance from the boat. The circumstances surrounding her death remain mysterious, with speculation about an accidental fall, foul play, or even a struggle between her and Wagner. The eerie connection between her lifelong fear and her untimely death was not lost on those who knew her. Wood's haunting premonition seemed to foreshadow the tragedy that would later unfold. Her fear of drowning became her fate, casting a shadow over her legacy. To this day, the mystery surrounding her death and her prophetic words continue to captivate the public's imagination. Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash, the man in black, spent the final years of his life confronting his own mortality, and he channeled these reflections into his music. As he recorded his last album, American Fourth, The Man Comes Around, Cash was in the grips of declining health. He had been battling a range of serious conditions, including diabetes and the aftermath of a heart attack. At the time, Cash knew his life was nearing its end, and this awareness seeped into his songwriting. He poured his soul into each track, often touching on themes of death, regret, and redemption. In the song Hurt, a cover of the 9 Inch Nails hit, Cash's raw emotional delivery struck a chord with listeners. The lyrics, "What have I become, my sweetest friend? Everyone I know goes away in the end," perfectly captured his feelings about the end of life. The song's dark tone reflected his struggles with health and the passing of friends, and it became one of his most hauntingly beautiful farewell songs. Johnny Cash's acceptance of his mortality was evident in his music, and his voice, aged and weary, added a layer of poignancy to his songs. His reflections on life and death in his later work made his final years feel like a profound journey towards peace and acceptance. When Cash passed away in 2003, his music continued to resonate, leaving behind a legacy marked by his honest confrontations with life's fragility. His last songs serve as a moving farewell from an artist who knew exactly how to embrace the inevitable with grace. Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin, known to the world as the Crocodile Hunter, had a larger-than-life personality and an infectious passion for wildlife. His enthusiasm for animals was evident in everything he did, whether he was wrestling crocodiles or caring for his beloved creatures. Yet, despite his bold demeanor, Steve often joked about the dangers that came with his work. He was known for saying things like, "I'm going to die doing what I love." His colleagues would laugh, but there was an underlying truth in his words, as Irwin constantly put himself at risk in order to educate the world about wildlife conservation. Irwin's profession involved handling some of the world's most dangerous animals, and he was no stranger to close calls. He was often seen getting dangerously close to crocodiles, snakes, and other wild creatures, all in the name of conservation. He believed that working with these animals helped people understand and appreciate them, but the risks were undeniable. On September 4th, 2006, Steve Irwin's boldness ultimately caught up with him. While filming an underwater documentary in the Great Barrier Reef, he was tragically pierced in the chest by a stingray barb, causing his death. The world was shocked and saddened by his sudden passing. Despite the tragedy, Irwin's legacy lives on through his family's continued work with wildlife and conservation. His infectious passion for animals and his fearless dedication to his cause remain a bittersweet reminder of a man who gave everything to the creatures he loved. Steve Irwin's tragic passing is a powerful reminder of the risks he willingly took to share his love for wildlife with the world. Like so many others on this list, his words about his fate now echo with haunting significance. What do you think about these eerie premonitions? Were they mere coincidences, or did these celebrities truly sense their own mortality? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take on these chilling stories. And if you found this fascinating, click on the video appearing on your screen now. 30 performers and actors who died live on stage. Their stories are just as unforgettable and chilling as these. Don't miss it.